It has been said that average people want you to stay average. Welcome to the Breaking Average podcast, the podcast designed to challenge you to break the mold that average has on the world. Each episode offers insights directly from those who choose to break average every day. Now, for the latest insights, here are your hosts, Paul Gustafson and Mike Harbour.
Hey, welcome to the Breaking Average podcast. My name is Mike Harbour, and joining me today on the show is my co-host, Paul Gustafson. Hey, Paul, how are you, my friend?
Mike, I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Excited. This is going to be a fun episode, and I can't wait to dig in on this.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're continuing on our journey to picking the very best. And look, there's only 6 left. Very best movies in the land.
6.
I know there's 6 because I have 6 movies left in the picks. But I'm excited that we have some classics to look at and reflect back on as far as breaking average movies. Joining us in studio also are some of our friends that we'll introduce in a moment. But we are exploring movies, Paul, because they inspire us, they encourage us, they paint a picture of perseverance, they help us break average, which is what we're all about. On season 2 of the Breaking Average podcast, we continue our emphasis on transformational leadership, Paul. It looks at different ways we are influenced to break average, and the movies are certainly one medium that we're using to do that.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And again, joining us in studio is Rick Morris and Diane Kane. Welcome. How y'all doing? It's great to be here, isn't it?
Hello, hello.
It's great to be here. It's always great to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and we're going to seed our discussion with a little interview that I was able to have with Mark Batterson and his daughter, Summer Batterson Dailey. And so we're going to start with that. They actually have some fun with their movies too. And then we'll get into our movie discussion.
Yeah, Paul, I love Mark Batterson. He has some fantastic writings. I know The Circle, The Prayer Circle is a fantastic book, and The Pit with a Line. I mean, he's just got some fantastic writings that have challenged me. His communication, he's a fantastic communicator, and his vision that he communicates challenges me. And I'm honored to have him as a guest on the Breaking Average podcast. He truly has broken average in so many ways, Paul. I mean, if you really know his story and how he started and how he's built this church in DC, I'd challenge our listeners just to learn a little bit about that story and some of the things he's been through to get there. But he and his daughter have written a fantastic child's book called When God Whispers. And in this interview, Mark and Summer share their picks also on the movies that we'll get to later. It's all about having a winning mindset, though, Paul. Let's jump right in and hear this interview. We hope you enjoy this.
Well, I am excited to be here with Mark Batterson and his daughter Summer as we talk about something really special. They just crafted and created a book earlier this year called God Speaks in Whispers, and it's fantastic. And we're excited because we get a chance to have a conversation with both of them. Mark, Summer, how are you?
Doing great, Paul. Grateful for your friendship and fun to be able to bring Summer into the mix and have a conversation.
Yeah. And it is a great book. It's a fairly easy read. It's one of those books that I don't think it takes too long to read. I've read it several times. But tell us more about the book. You know, some folks haven't seen it other than seeing the title of it, knowing a little bit about it. What was the vision birthed for this book? Tell me about that. What was really the dream behind it?
Yeah, maybe I'll share the first half and you can talk about the second half. You know, a couple of years ago, Paul, I wrote a book titled Whisper, How to Hear the Voice of God. And it's for big people. And then it dawned on me that little people actually have a distinct advantage when it comes to learning new language. They're able to pick up a second language more quickly. And I think that includes the language of hearing the voice of God. And so we thought, what if we take this idea of whisper and translate it into more of a kid's kind of language?
So, Summer, you work with children, don't you?
Yeah.
You've been working with children for a while?
Much every job I've ever had has been with kids. And so I think I've seen how kids interact with their environment and have really seen the world through the eyes of a kid. So it was something really enjoyable to be a part of, to kind of bring that into the book.
And Paul, I would just add that, what some of my best memories are reading really bedtime storybooks to Summer when she was a little girl. So to be able to kind of flip that script and write one together, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And I will say that most of the rhyming, she gets the credit for it.
It's fantastic. And I want to dive into that creation experience, because there's definitely, you could just tell from the collaboration. I've read, the Whisper book, which is fantastic. So just to shout out for anybody who's looking for a great book, if you want the adult version of this book, you definitely got to read it. It's called Whisper. And I had a chance to go through that, Mark, in Colorado earlier this year, and we just did a deep dive on it. And that's the most magical place in the world to be, to hear God whisper to you. Yes. What's great about this, Summer, is that you were able to capture the essence of what your dad has done, with the words that you put in there, and really cast a vision, I think, for children to understand of how God communicates to us. And well done on that. And tell me more about that creation experience, the collaboration the two of you had. What was that like? Were there any challenges that you all had, or was it like, just the easy street, or what was that like? And lots of coffee, maybe?
Once we got through the beginning of how to start it, we found something that both of us really like, which is a very whimsical style. Yeah. And I think we both go on so many rabbit trails with that, but it was really fun because of that. And the rhyming, writing a book that rhymes, it's fun.
Yeah. And I would say I learned to trust Summer's intuition. Paul, let's keep it real. She's, as my daughter is less than half my age. And so she remembers what it's like to be a kid. Yeah. And your training is in social work. And so I think the book has an element of helping kids even deal with emotions and feelings. And I think a lot of that really is a testament to Summer.
Yeah. And Summer, I just to your dad's point, you're a licensed social worker, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So when I mentioned that you're working with children, you're really working with families right there in DC, which is pretty cool. Now, Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. So when you guys started this, did you have that end in mind picture?
It would, Paul, you have a creative bent to you. And so, it felt like a blank canvas. It was kind of hard to know where the book would go. But, Whisper is about these 7 languages that God speaks in. So through scripture, people, pain, promptings, and then desires and dreams and doors. And so we took that as a little bit of an outline. And then we knew that we would add some nature into the mix because God speaks through his creation. Right. So that was our starting point. But
the first draft that we wrote and where it ended up, I think was kind of a 360. We were all over the place, but our end product has kind of been the blueprint for how we're working moving forward too.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I would add, I like these fun facts that the brain processes print on a page at 100 bits per second, but it processes pictures at 1 billion bits per second. Wow. So a picture isn't really worth 1,000 words. It's worth 10 million words. Yeah. So what was unique about this process is that Summer and I crafted the language, but then we worked with an illustrator who is brilliant. Yeah. To paint some of those pictures of the things that we were trying to depict. So it truly was this team collaboration, and pretty happy with that finished product.
Yeah, illustrations are fantastic. And I saw a little bit where the two of you are talking to a bunch of children, I think probably at church, right? That was kind of fun.
It really was.
And you never know how children are going to react and respond, right? So so it was great, but they did good, and y'all did. It was good. It was good. Yeah. So how did God whisper to you guys during this whole process? What discoveries or moments of insight did you have? Summer, I'd love to start with you on that one.
just empowering kids. I think that's the best thing that we can do, and helping them realize that they already have that within them. Like he's saying, it's easier for a child to learn a second language. I think these things come more naturally to them. So empowering them and just using the book as a way to build them up and help them see all the opportunities around them to hear the voice of God.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say that there's an element that when you're writing a book for kids, it does get you in touch with your inner child?
Yeah.
We had to almost, what was it like getting tucked into bed as a kid when you're scared of the dark, or when you see the big blue glacier, or kind of these moments in the book?
Yeah.
And that was fun for me, because I think it helped our inner child come out a little bit.
Yeah. Did you all get out in nature to do this too, right? Or was it just within the room, or was it also in that space of walking a trail maybe together, or being out there and seeing the beauty of God's creation and being able to have that kind of conversation together? Did that happen?
Well, we love to hike. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say a lot of it happened with the help of caffeine.
There you go.
But, Paul, I have this formula: caffeine plus the Holy Spirit equals awesome. So that certainly helped.
You heard it first here, guys. Caffeine, plus the Holy Spirit equals awesome for sure. Definitely love it. So, we have this question that we love to ask folks. Our podcast is titled Breaking Average. What does breaking average mean to you? Why is it important? And then Mark, I'll start with you on that one.
Yeah, Paul, I love the book, by the way, and the concept is just brilliant. It challenged me. What's interesting is it reminds me of my favorite devotional by Oswald Chambers, My Utmost for His Highest.
Yeah.
It's this idea that potential is God's gift to us, and what we do with it is our gift back to God. So I don't know, I want to be anything but average, and I want to be anything but normal. Right. Normal is way overrated. And so I think that idea challenges me to bring my A game, and kind of the way I think about it. Oh boy, this is going to get really theological, but I think we got to be more known for what we're for than what we're against.
Yeah.
And so there's this moment in Athens where Paul goes into the Areopagus, and he's kind of competing for the truth. And so I just believe we got to write better books, produce better films, draft better legislation, start better businesses. How? With the help of the Holy Spirit. So to me, breaking average is allowing the Spirit of God to really work in us and through us. And I think that takes 1,000 different forms.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I love what you shared. Summer, how about you? What does it mean to you?
I think that he naturally, wants to break every glass ceiling. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
And I think that raising our standards of how we do things, especially in the kingdom, is really important. But not just that. I think raising our quality of life, and if we think about what average is, the average person is kind of just rushing through life and looking at career goals. But I think when you think about breaking average and thinking about quality of life and what you're doing, how you're doing it, that's what I think of, rather than, you just love goals. You love doing lots of big, crazy things, but I actually think about our everyday lives and how we can build on that and use our everyday lives for the kingdom.
Yeah, that's great. And I would imagine with what you're doing in social work, you're trying to help families break average too, right? So
yeah, we're focusing on basic needs every day.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I have that mindset. But.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's good. So Summer, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received from your dad?
I already know it. Well, we have a lot of isms in our household. One of them is your focus determines your reality. a bad attitude was not accepted. And really, I've had to use that. I mean, I didn't appreciate it when I was younger, and that's what I was being told. But that's really something that I've used the older that I've gotten. You know, it's true. Your focus determines your reality, and sometimes you just have to keep going. But even further, I think if you dive into that, that probably includes a lot of influence I got with like looking for blessings. If you're looking, you know, for all of the things that are going wrong, like you will find it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it has to do with this book too. Like if kids are focusing on where to hear the voice of God, then, you know, like they're going to find it.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've pretty much applied in all areas.
That's good. That's so good. Mark, you did well on that, but what's your most fond memory, maybe the best memory that you have? I'm sure you got lots of memories, but is there one moment or memory of your daughter, either recent or growing up, that really stirred your heart, shaped maybe you a new perspective?
I mean, Paul, that is a hard question to answer because there's so many moments that are just so special to me. But I'll say this, and I hope this is okay because we're sitting here right next to each other. But, you know, I ever since Summer was a little girl, I would say to her, if all the little girls in the world were lined up and I could only choose one to be my daughter, I would choose you. And I think she knows that and believes that. And by the way, have the privilege of walking her down the aisle last year.
Yay.
She got married.
Congratulations.
So I got to pronounce a blessing, and I was just like, what do I do? I'm a pastor too. And so what do I do? What do I say? And it came to me at the 11th hour, Paul. I got up and said to Summer's husband, Austin, if all the little boys in the world were lined up and I could only choose one to be my son-in-law, I would choose you.
That's great.
You know, and there's a simple principle here that I feel like my job as a father, as imperfect as I'm going to be as an earthly father, is to somehow reflect the heart of the Heavenly Father. Mm. And I think the Heavenly Father, if we could really hear that voice, hear what he's saying, I think we would hear him say, this is my beloved son, this is my beloved daughter in whom I'm well pleased. Yeah. And I think if people hear that voice, I really believe that is the voice of God.
That's so good. That's great. Well, congratulations, Summer. So has it been 1 year almost? Pretty close?
Yep, coming up in like a week.
Congratulations on that. Fantastic.
What were we doing a year ago today?
We were mad scrambling to pull off a sort of a DIY, a little bit of a DIY wedding kind of out in nature. So really, Paul, a year ago, I was simply praying for the weather. That's what I was doing, that it wouldn't rain.
Yeah. So now here we are with this pandemic. So good thing you did it last year. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's have some fun. We're going through a little series right now on Breaking Average where we've got some movies going to head to head. We picked 32 movies and we're down to 16 and they're head to head. It's kind of like March Madness with movies. And I don't know, are you guys movie buffs first? You like movies?
Oh, yeah.
Summer, do you like a few movies out there?
I don't know if I would call myself a movie buff because that sounds like a title that I'd
That's great. That's good. But you enjoy some good entertainment if it's there, right? So I've got a couple movies that I just want to run through. This is rapid fire, head to head. So I would, Summer, you have the honors first. You pick first, and then we'll let Dad pick next. Okay, is that all right? Mm-hmm. So here we go. And if you don't know the movie, you can say, just pick the one you think is better. Okay. So have fun with it. Here we go. First one, Remember the Titans or Rocky?
Rocky.
Rocky 4.
So we're going with Rocky 1 on this one. So you say Rocky. Okay, great. Okay, next one. Greatest Showman or Forrest Gump?
The Greatest Showman. Still listen to the soundtrack.
Yep. Soundtrack, all-timer, Greatest Showman.
Yeah, I watched it 5 times going to Malaysia. Next one, Up or The Incredibles?
Up.
Yeah, that is a tough one. Fun fact, I did own a Mr. Incredible outfit and may have run around DC in it.
Oh no. That's good.
But Up.
Up, yeah. That's great. Okay, next one, Shawshank Redemption or Hidden Figures?
Hidden Figures.
Oh man, and this is where the age difference is going to come in.
Yeah, I've never seen Shawshank Redemption.
I'm gonna go Shawshank.
Okay, good. Tough choices there. Next one is one that I've never seen, but everybody else picked this one against one that I have seen many times. Ever After with Drew Barrymore or 42 with Chadwick Boseman?
I think 42 on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
42.
42.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Next one, Gladiator or 12 Strong? Gladiator or 12 Strong?
Oh, I will answer for both of us. I mean, Gladiator is a total adrenaline rush, right?
That's probably why I would like it.
Yeah. I think I may have watched that one in the man cave.
Yeah. It's definitely a guy's movie, but 12 Strong is a good movie too. All right. Next one is Good Will Hunting versus The Matrix.
Good Will Hunting.
You know, I think I'm going to go the same just because I just saw it on rerun about a week ago. It's a classic.
Classic. So you're both taking the blue pill, not the red pill on that one. Good Will Hunting.
I love it.
All right. Last one, Hoosiers or A League of Their Own?
Hoosiers, just because that's the house that I was raised in, was a Hoosiers house.
Oh, if I had a nickel for every time I watched that movie.
Or for every reference.
Yes. Another classic soundtrack.
Final question for both of you. What recommendations do you have? Let's say that somebody's watching or listening to this and they're going through a struggle point. There may be some challenges. Maybe it's COVID. Maybe there's just some stuff that's happening in their world. Maybe they're trying to get that business off the ground. But what advice would you give for somebody who might have that idea or might have that struggle and just don't know what to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, I think we overestimate what we can do in a year or two, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 or 20.
Yeah.
And so I think we got to remind ourselves, this has been a tough year for everybody. And in fact, I heard that, I read this study that 18% of leaders feel qualified to lead right now.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering who those 18% are. All of us are a little past our pay grade. We're way outside our comfort zone. But, it's funny, Paul, I was on the phone yesterday with our mutual friend who we love and respect, John Maxwell.
Yeah.
And, John can say things in a parenthetical form that will like transform your life. And he basically said kind of this almost like just secondhand, everything you want is outside your comfort zone. And he said, crisis is the thing that often puts us outside our comfort zone. So maybe some of the things that we're enduring, and this isn't to make light of, all of the pain and suffering that are the byproduct of COVID, for example, but I really believe this is a moment to rediscover, to reimagine, and to just see what the future might hold. It's kind of like this giant reset button that we've experienced. And so I would just say, be encouraged that this too shall pass. We're going to come out the other side, and the best is yet to come. Yeah,
that's so good. And Summer, there's a lot of younger folks listening or watching this. What would you say to them as they're going through this? This is kind of a new deal for all of us, but what would you say to them to encourage them?
The only thing I can say is really talk to people. That is, sometimes we isolate, when we have all these barriers, but reaching out to people that you trust is, I think, underestimated in every way that it can help us. That's the only way we can move forward, because we have this tunnel vision and the people around us are seeing the best in us, and they're going to be the ones that are calling that out.
Yeah, I love that advice. It's so important for us because sometimes we kind of get in isolation and we just don't know what to do. And you brought up a great point. Reach out, and your book, the book that both of you wrote is really about reaching up and listening, and God communicates to us those 7 different ways, but also reaching out to other people. So I think that was well said. So guys, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time and just connecting with me. Congrats again on the book. And for everybody else, you guys got to go get it. God Speaks in Whispers. It's a fantastic book. Great book. It's perfect for a Christmas gift for somebody that Buy 10 copies. Get it out there. So any final words for you guys as we exit?
I love it. What if we had a little bit of fun? And I know we've got some big kids listening right now. What if we read the last 2 pages?
I would love that. That was good. I was thinking about, boy, could I get them to read a little bit? And you just teed it up. So let's do it.
Why not? In fact, Summer, you wanna take this one? By the way, here's what it looks like. Pretty cute little dog. And we'll just read the last 2 pages, almost kind of pronouncing a little blessing on everybody that's listening.
Thank you. Yes.
Above all else, know this is true, that God is singing all around you.
And what is he saying in that voice, still and small? That you, my dear, are his favorite of all.
Yes. Thank you so much. If we had an audience here, there'd definitely be some claps and applause because that's perfect. So thank you guys for just taking time out of your day just to be with us. And we look forward to connecting with you guys again. Keep us posted on this. And, other questions that I know folks are going to have is when's book 2 coming out? So we'll explore that one next time. Okay.
I love it. Hey, Paul, thanks for your friendship and your leadership. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
Wow, what a great interview, Paul. And thank you for doing that, man. I love listening to Mark. I love his passion. I love his energy. Joining us in studio to talk a little bit more about breaking average, we have our colleagues Diane Kane and Rick Morris. Hey, guys, how are y'all doing?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, welcome to the Breaking Average podcast Sweet 16 round. Are you guys nervous?
Not at all.
Why would you be nervous? This is fun.
Well, I mean, when you look at the picks that are left, I mean, the movies that you have left in the running are kind of like bottom tier C level movies, right?
You can't intimidate me. You just can't.
Paul, what are your thoughts right now about the movies that you had? Do you have any left, Paul, in the Sweet 16?
I've got the winning movie left. So at least in my mind it is. But all these movies are great, so I'm excited about them. And we're gonna have fun, and we're the judges here, so we get to have fun with this. It's kind of like American Idol style, I guess. I don't know, but so here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna go through it. Each of us has about 15 seconds apiece to kind of comment on it and give or take a few seconds, and then when all 4 of us are done, we're gonna see which one comes out. And if we have a tiebreaker, you heard Mark Batterson talk about some of his favorite movies, so maybe we'll use that maybe as a tiebreaker. But I do like the IMDb tiebreaker for the matchup. And our sponsor for the Sweet 16 is the DC Dream Center, and I'm pretty pumped about that we have the DC Dream Center being highlighted today. And the Dream Center, again, it's just a fantastic organization. And we asked you that you consider supporting them. Go to dcdreamcenter.com/donate. So, but I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Diane, we're going to start with you this week for our Sweet 16 pick. Paul, why don't you kind of lead? Where are we starting at? Which division? Are we going to start Western or Eastern Division today?
Yeah, we go Western. We're starting with Western, and all of a sudden, Western movies kind of started flashing through my mind now. But we don't have. I'm looking at our list. There's no Western movies.
There are no Western movies.
We should do that sometime. Like pull out some of those old John Wayne and Clint Eastwood westerns, right?
Yeah,
I love those things.
but we don't have any. We have a Western division, but no Western movies. But here we go. So yeah, the first matchup is a fun one. Remember the Titans and Rocky.
Mm-hmm. So for me, for the Western Division, it's Remembering the Titans. It has to be that one, just because of the background of the movie and the breaking average for the whole group. So Remember the Titans.
So, and it's a dagger. It's a dagger.
I follow Diane here on this order, and I am with you, Diane. It is Remember the Titans for sure, 100%. And I love Rocky, but Remember the Titans. Oh man. Awesome.
Oh, for sure. And so this, just with my son recently, we picked up one of my favorite shows, which is Sons of Anarchy. And I asked him if he knew Opie, who's Ryan Hurst, played in Remember the Titans. He said, Dad, I haven't seen that movie. I said, well, we got to watch it. So we just coming off this weekend, watching it again, the star power, the story, the sentiment, the laughter. Hayden Panettiere kills it in the movie. It's Remembering the Titans.
Mike, you still get a vote in this thing, but I think you've already, you already know where this is going.
I'm those of you who are listening to the Breaking Average podcast and watching on the Empowered Living show, I want you to witness what happens today. It's obvious that the three of my partners here have collaborated against me, and they've probably had a pre-meeting before our recording, and they're bound and determined to make sure I don't win. Rocky is one of my picks, right? And it's when we talk about breaking average, Rocky is he exudes this whole idea of breaking average, right? Never quitting, getting knocked down, getting back up, continuing to win and drive forward. The greatest movie series of all time is
and I agree with you there. But this movie, the first movie's 9 hours.
Look, I like y'all's pick. Remember. Yeah. And he ends up losing, right? But it's Remember the Titans is a great pick. I love that movie. It exemplifies a lot of what's going on in our world right now, and so I can't argue with that pick. I'm disappointed, but yeah, 3 against 1. We got to move on.
Yeah. And Mark Batterson, just so you know, he did say Rocky, but he was thinking Rocky 4, not Rocky 1. So
Rocky is Rocky. It doesn't matter. It's Rocky. It's all Rockies, kind of like Star Wars. You don't pick one Star. It's all Star Wars.
You do,
Wars,
actually.
Right?
You pick one.
He's never going to give it up. He's not going to give it up.
Yeah, come on, Rick Astley. Let's go.
Okay. Remember the Titans takes game 1 in the Western Division. I know how this is going to go today. I'm going to have to be really creative in my picks next time, I guess. So let's, Diane, let's move to the next game, which features The Greatest Showman and Forrest Gump. 2 great heavyweight movies right here. Who are you going with?
Mike, I don't want to conspire against you because, Forrest is your pick. But, The Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman is still my fave. I love Forrest, but I have to go with The Greatest Showman on this one.
I'm with Diane. Greatest Showman all the way. If it can get me through a trip to Malaysia, it's a movie that anybody can watch. Yeah. Greatest Showman.
The conspiracy lives for sure because the opening song just, gets you going. Now, Forrest Gump's great, but again, it was the novelty of how all the stories intertwined, which is just a long story. Greatest Showman just punches you in the face with entertainment as soon as it starts.
Yeah, look, it's obvious. I knew this was coming. I almost
go last.
I almost called in sick today because I knew this was coming. But yeah, look, I love both of these movies. I've watched Forrest Gump multiple times. It's, to me, one of the greatest all-time movies ever. Tom Hanks, we talked about that last time, right? The movies he's made, they're all fantastic movies to watch. But if if I were on a trip to Malaysia and had something to watch 5 times, it's probably going to be Greatest Showman just because of the energy, right? Forrest Gump is entertaining. Greatest Showman is uplifting. There's 2 different types of movies there, but I love both of them. I would put my vote in for Greatest Showman as well. So
clean
yeah, it's not a conspiracy this time because I would have voted there as well. I just didn't get to pick it first.
Yeah. All right.
Let's keep on moving here. These are, this this next matchup, Diane, it's not even close, really. But you get to go first again. The Incredibles. Wow. What a fantastic movie. We're not even going to talk about Rick's pick, but The Incredibles is a fantastic movie that you get to pick in this next round movie, Diane, against something called Up. Yeah. The Incredibles versus Up, Diane.
Oh, this one's a hard one for me. This one's really a hard one for me because they're both, Up pulls at your heartstrings. It's all about, the dream. And then The Incredibles is all about the action and the family orientation and overcoming. All right, Mike, I might have to give you this one. I'm going to go The Incredibles on this one.
It's not even close.
Wow. It is. Yeah, it's super close because I'm not, I haven't watched Up a lot, and I went back and watched it. And I was like, whew, that's a good movie. But my heart, I'm telling you, it's The Incredibles. I just think there's a story in there for everybody, for any person, small, young, old, doesn't matter. And I would say Up has got that too, but The Incredibles is just a little bit better in that area. And, credit to Up, Mark Batterson and his daughter, they picked Up, but I still go with The Incredibles. That's my pick.
Yeah, the amount of intimidation that was thrown there was just at a level. I just want everybody to catch how predisposed Diane and Paul are to outside suggestion. It was really incredible because when Russell gets the Ellie badge pinned to him at the ceremony, if you don't cry, you're not human. So Up wins for me.
Yeah, Rick.
It's a good movie, Rick. So
I hope you don't cry because you lose this match. But the only thing I did wrong here is I didn't wear my incredible shirt, because I do have an incredible shirt that I like.
That would have pushed us into the direction of Up. So I kind of wish you would have.
Probably would have.
It's a self-portrait actually on that shirt. But yeah, The Incredibles, it's one of my favorite. I'm not a huge animated film watcher. I know Rick is from his Disney background. Some of them are great. Incredibles is one that we've watched in our house multiple times just because we love it. So Incredibles wins that one for sure.
So Mike, full disclosure. Have you watched Up?
I have watched Up. It's been a long time. I've only watched it once, Rick, and I've watched The Incredibles probably 8 or 10 times, maybe. It's it's no comparison.
There's that repetition.
For you, I know, but don't cry. Do we need to take a break here so you can wipe tears?
We do. I just need it. I need a second. I need a second.
And if you're like me, guys, listening or watching, and you've only seen Up once, go back and watch it a second time, because it's worth the watch. I was really pleasantly surprised, Rick. So again, it didn't quite edge out The Incredibles, but it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, this next matchup is incredible. It's going to be really hard for me to pick. But Diane, you get to go first. You get to set the pace here. SHAWSHANK versus Hidden Figures. What a great matchup.
I'm still going to go Hidden Figures on this one. I know that SHAWSHANK is phenomenal. It's got such a great story, but I still have to go. When we talk breaking average, Hidden Figures is still the one for me.
Yeah, two super great movies, fantastic. And you can tell that Mark and Summer had struggles with this one.
Yeah.
I don't have a struggle with this one, even though I love SHAWSHANK. Hidden Figures edges it out. It is clearly the winner in my vote. My vote here. So I'll take Hidden Figures over SHAWSHANK.
Yeah, again, I have to come back to watchability as well. Hidden Figures, phenomenal. Love Kevin Costner. I think it's great. But SHAWSHANK, I mean, and the question for Mike is, are you going to get busy living or get busy dying?
Yeah, you see how Rick tried to twist my arm here? But you didn't, look, I love Andy, right? I love Andy. And, I mean, who can go against Morgan Freeman? Just a fantastic story of overcoming, injustice, I guess, and however you want to put that. It's a fantastic movie of perseverance and breaking average, doing what you have to do to survive. SHAWSHANK definitely gets my vote. 2-2, Paul. We're going to have to go to the IMDb to find out. I mean, we already know, I'm sure, that SHAWSHANK's going to win, but it's going to be interesting to see what IMDb says.
What was Mark's pick?
Well, again, there was a split between Mark and Summer. So Mark picked Shawshank, and Summer picked Hidden Figures, hands down. So I'm trying to go to IMDb here. Apparently, there was a TV series called Shawshank, which does not work. So we're not.
Series don't qualify, Paul. Remember that.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly.
Yeah, we had that discussion last
The
time.
Shawshank Redemption on the IMDb scale, it's a 1994 movie. It was a 9.3.
Wow.
And Hidden Figures, which is pretty high. That's like one of the highest rated movies we've got on our list here. Hidden Figures, which is 2016, has a rating of 7.8.
Wow. Blowout.
Right.
Blowout. Yeah.
Wow,
Knew
that's-
it.
Wow,
Knew it.
tough. I'm sorry. Hidden Figures, love that movie. But Shawshank,
Shawshank is so good, it allows me and Mike to put our differences aside and agree. I mean, it's
For
just
once.
that good.
Oh, ironic
once,
is that
yeah.
one, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I've watched, again, I've watched both movies, but the Hidden Figures I've only watched once. Shawshank I've watched multiple times. Rick, you mentioned watchability factor a while ago. That's it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
for sure.
It's one that you on a rainy day you can sit and watch and be thoroughly entertained by it, and I love it. So, Western Division, Paul.
Yeah.
Tell us the four coming out of that division.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I'm looking at this thing, and we've got Remember the Titans, Greatest Showman, The Incredibles, and Shawshank Redemption. Powerful.
I'm a little disappointed. So Paul picked Remember the Titans. Rick picked Greatest Showman. I have The Incredibles, and Rick has Shawshank. So Rick has two coming out of that Western Division. I'm not very happy about that. Diane, you didn't get any. I hope you're okay. But it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of the Eastern Division. So this is going to be fun because I think I have 2 or 3 movies left here, and I think all 3 of them will make it to the next round. Dan, we're still going with you. Let's go right to the top. Ever After and 42. Ever After and 42.
This is just a slaughter.
It's just like, we don't even have to take a vote on this, right?
I'm
We could
sorry,
just
man.
blow right on by this one. And Ever
Yeah.
After's my pick, but come on.
But I'm like, how did these two together? Yeah. No, it's 42 all the way. And I liked Ever After, Rick. Love you, man, but
Oh, no. Hey, look, it's my pick, and I'm 42 all the way.
So-
I even picked a Mike pick. Goodness gracious.
Go-
This morning at 6 a.m., I'm watching Ever After for the first time. And it's
Really?
a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Wow, he was doing
really
his
good-
homework right
It's
there.
a great
I had
movie.
to. I was
6
like,
a.m. to watch Ever After.
I got to make sure I've got clarity on these. And I love that line, the prince and Cinderella, they're talking, and then he says, I have no desire to be king. And she says, oh, but think of the wonderful things you could do for the country, for the world. And he says, but to be defined by your position, to never be seen as who you are, but what you are, you have no idea how insufferable that is. And she empathizes, she understands, and she says, you've been born to privilege, and with that comes specific obligations. So there's some great lines in that movie. It's a great movie, but 42, no doubt about it, is the clear winner for me in this matchup. So, but good choice, Rick. Ever After.
Yeah.
I would have never watched it if you hadn't mentioned it. So 42 though for me.
I could actually see Paul in his Cinderella dress while he was doing that quote. Couldn't you?
Dude, you messed up.
That's the one who's wearing the pink shirt.
I'm strong. I'm strong. Rick, you've already put your vote in. Do we even need
but
to go
the
any
quote
further?
the quote that I loved in that, Paul, at the very, very end, right after all of that, it's a real life story. But they said, and while Cinderella and her prince did live happily ever after, the point, gentlemen, is that they lived. And I just thought that was the most entertaining way to tell an old story.
Yeah.
But 42.
That's good. Yeah. Moving on, 42 clean sweep in that round. We knew that was coming. So, Diane, this is this next battle is truly a battle.
This is a fight.
Truly a battle. I mean, for me, it's going to even be tough. So I'm interested to see how I'm glad I get to vote last because I'm going to be probably the tiebreaker here or the tie maker. But Gladiator versus 12 Strong, two of my favorite ever man movies, right? Two of my favorite ever man movies here. Gladiator, 12 Strong.
Well, we have warriors, right? We have definitely. So how hand to hand, they're both hard for me to watch, but I do watch them because I get grossed out. The whole killing things, Gladiator and 12 Strong. Oh, two different versions of warriors. I got to go Gladiator just because, it's hand to hand. It's that you don't get a rougher warrior than that in Gladiator. It's all Gladiator.
It's a good
pick.
It's a tough pick.
But
yeah, no, Gladiator was a movie on my pick list that Rick stole from me early in the first round. Yeah. So it's a great pick. How about you, Paul?
It's a tough choice. I love Gladiator. 12 Strong is a movie that there's so many great lessons. In fact, in the book Breaking Average, we highlight 12 Strong. So, however, Gladiator is my go-to movie. I got to go with Gladiator because there's so many great lines, so many great stories. It's a great message of leadership, great message of perseverance. Hands down, Gladiator.
Yeah, for me as well. I mean, 12 Strong, first of all, being a true story, being about an incredible warrior, incredible bravery. I mean, in talk about answering the bell. So from a real life perspective, 12 Strong all day long. From a movie perspective, I don't think there's a better leadership movie that shows the difference between positional leadership and permissive leadership than Gladiator. So I got to go with Gladiator.
Yeah, that's look, this is a really tough pick for me because as I said, Gladiator was actually on my list of movies to add, but Rick picked it before I had the chance to. I'm a military guy, I'm former military, so I love anything military. Both of these are military type movies. 12 Strong is a true story. Gladiator is probably true as well, just not in our, not in the times that we live now. But Gladiator I love what you just said, Rick. That's why I would pick it because it's a true example. We all love to talk about leadership. It's a true example of leadership, what real leadership is versus, passive, aggressive type leadership using position to hold people down, those kind of things. It's a fantastic movie. So I'd pick Gladiator as well as a movie that I've watched it multiple times and would probably watch it over 12 Strong too. So fantastic movie. Moving on, I hate to pick against myself there, but I feel like I'm picking for myself because I really would have. That was really one of my movies. Rick just stole it from me.
Hey, I feel like you stole 42 from me. I mean, if you go back to the original episode,
list.
I picked 42 and we let you have it. So
now those two go head to head.
We'll
Now
just
they
be
go head to
teammates.
head in the next round. That's going to be really fun. Let's we've got two more picks, four more movies. Diane, this is this is not even close, but you get to go. You get to go first. I mean, I can't even believe these two are going against each other. It's not even like real, right? Good Will Hunting versus The Matrix.
Right. So they're both mindset movies. I'm just saying, about belief and about moving forward, and they are both persevering. And I love them both. And The Matrix was my pick. So I'm just going to stick with my pick. The Matrix.
Wow.
I knew you were going to do that, Diane.
I had to.
So The Matrix has one pick, Good Will Hunting versus The Matrix, Paul. Really? Come on.
This is a crazy, this one is the most obscure battle I've ever, I think of all our movies, this is probably the most weirdest one, right? Good Will Hunting versus The Matrix. I mean, how do they match up, right? And I kind of went back and I saw like Good Will Hunting beat out Ford versus Ferrari and The Matrix beat out We Were Soldiers. And those were strong movie picks too. And I had to go back on the Good Will Hunting, and because I've only seen that one time. I've seen The Matrix 20 times, and I see why the Good Will Hunting probably is the winning movie in this category. And I didn't expect that. It wasn't until the second watch where I realized, you know what, there's something special about this. Maybe it's because Robin Williams, the performance in it, the acting, the storyline, it's good. I mean, there's some elements to it. You know, you got to hit the fast forward button, but otherwise it's a really good movie. So Good Will Hunting just narrowly nips out The Matrix, because The Matrix is the setup movie of all time for so many great little metaphors, not just the red pill, the blue pill, but, you know, the dodging the bullets kind of stuff. There's so many good things about it. And the whole mindset thing that Diane just shared is so solid. So this was really close for me, but Good Will Hunting just narrowly beats out The Matrix.
So one apiece, Rick. Matrix, Good Will Hunting. I can't even believe Paul said it's really close, but it is. You get to break the tie between Diane and Paul.
Yeah, I was going to put a vote in, but I got to go see About a Girl. So Good Will Hunting.
I love it. I love it. You know, I feel bad, really, because I like Diane way more than I like Rick. and so I'd rather be voting against Rick and not Diane. But and look, the three of you know this, but for our listeners on the Breaking Average podcast and the Empowered Living Show, I don't hold grudges. These three know this about me. I don't hold grudges at all, and I won't hold a grudge that the Matrix beat out We Were Soldiers. I mean, I still can't believe that. The Matrix should not even have gotten to this round, but they conspired against me and voted it here.
Oh, we did.
But I can't go against. I can't go against. I'm going to vote for The Matrix. Believe it or not. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I hate to say
underhanded. I cry foul. I cry foul. He's tired of my movies winning. He sees the one coming up next and knows I'm going to get another one in there. I'm with it. Yeah, that's just.
I would never do that to you, Rick. Never do that to you.
So we got a tie.
We got a tie.
Watchability.
Watch the
Rick.
Matrix be the Gonzaga of this tournament.
Right. Paul's pulling it up now.
I'm pulling it up. I did not
ratings?
expect this. All right, let's see. Well, they came out around the same time frame.
Love throwing curveballs at you guys. Watchability, Rick. You use the term watchability. I'd rather watch The Matrix than Good Will Hunting.
They're both super highly rated, super highly. They're all, you know, the stars are 8.3 for Good Will Hunting. The Matrix has 8.7.
No. Wow.
Gonzaga.
Wow.
That's it. I'm pulling The Matrix all the way through now.
No way.
Matrix beats
No
42.
way.
And Mike, you only did that.
The Matrix is going to take out 42. I'm calling it right now.
There's no way. There's no
Wow. Did not expect that one.
You're welcome, Diane. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes there's a little bit of strategy that goes into these picks. You know, you got to kind of look ahead, look at what's going on, and it's important to know the chess moves that you have to make. So we've got one more set of picks: Hoosiers against A League of Their Own. Hoosiers, A League of Their Own. I know where you're going, Diane, but go ahead.
Do you think I'm going to stick with my own pick? You just said strategy. And I'm like, you know, A League of Their Own, because I need the girl movie in there, man. I am the lone girl in this group. So,
yeah.
And I know Hoosiers has got lots of great stuff in there. It's been around for a very long time. It's a team movie. They're both team movies.
Great movies, both movies. Basketball against baseball. Men against women.
So I'm going to.
Fantastic. Set matchup here.
I need to stick with my pick. It's A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own. Paul?
Yeah.
It's so tough. So tough. Both great choices. Hoosiers. Hoosiers.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's It's all right.
Rick,
I don't feel bad.
Rick is so upset at me right now. You talk about the grudge holder, right? He'll never let that go.
I'm not a grudge holder, but I am the holder of the editing button, and I am going to edit your comments from the Matrix from the episode before. So
This is true.
go
He
ahead.
does hold the button.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Wow, what a great lineup of movies out of the Eastern. 42 and Gladiator, The Matrix and Hoosiers. So we'll be talking about that later. But boy, wow, solid movies. And credit to all the the runner-ups. All right, there's some good choices there, so let's not discredit those. Just because they didn't win out on that head-to-head doesn't mean they're not worthy of the watch.
Mm-hmm.
So good. But I enjoyed that. That's good, Mike.
Yeah, I think we've created a fantastic watch list for our listeners. And, as we move into a different season in life, maybe the 4 movies that are left, you'll go watch and help us pick the ultimate winner as well. Rick, I know you've got a couple of parting shots you want to throw here.
Oh no, I'm good. I'll just wait. I'm good.
You're gonna hit the edit button. You're just gonna wait. You're gonna throw parting shots.
Yeah, basically, just so you know, is I can manipulate the whole outcome. So the fact that you even say the title, I can put my pick is, and then what I want. So for the listeners, they don't know if that was really your pick or not. That's all I'm saying at this point.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We will be integrous, I promise.
Diane, what about how are you feeling right now? You got one movie in? Yeah, one movie in. So how are you feeling?
One movie in. I'm all about the fun. I can clearly see, Mike, that you are the most competitive out of all of us. You have to win. It's okay. I'm okay. But when it's called a winning mentality, Diane, a winning mentality, which is the topic of our show today, right? Winning mentality. Is that one of our topics? Or yes, yes, it is. Yes,
well, let's find out how much of a gracious loser he is.
Do you have to be right all the time, or do you have to get it right? How's that winning mentality look?
So from a winning mentality, I've got 5 of the 8 in, and I claim the 6th one as well in 42, but I don't know that any of mine are going to make it further. You've got
5 of the 8 left, Rick, or yours?
Remember the Titans is mine. Greatest Showman, Shawshank Redemption, Hoosiers, Gladiator.
Rick, I'm sorry, but you picked Rudy over Remember the Titans.
I did. I did.
You did.
Sorry. So Remember the Titans is yours, Paul. Sorry, that's right. I'm just used to winning. That's right. I had Rudy.
It's going to be fun as we finalize or get to our final 4 and then ultimately our champion. I think I have the champion left in the bracket. But hey, before we continue, I want to talk about our sponsor for the Elite 8. It's Milestone Melodies, and look, they do great work. They actually did the intro music for the Breaking Average podcast. So if you've got a special occasion, a special person, maybe you need some work done on an intro to a podcast or whatever that may be for your business, Milestone Melodies is here to create a legacy moment for you, whether it's anniversary, graduation, create a surprise that can last a lifetime. Choose Milestone Melodies. How many times have you spent a ton of time choosing a different gift or a gift that ends up on the shelf or gathering dust? Milestone Melodies creates a custom song with Nashville musicians that is essentially your life in a song. Visit milestonemelodies.com for more information to get started. Paul, it's time to close out our podcast. Once again, we want to thank Mark Batterson and his daughter Summer Batterson Dailey, our in studio guest. It's always fun with Rick and Diane. We have a lot of fun on the show. This has been extra special over the last few weeks as we've talked about great movies about breaking average. It's been a lot of fun, even though I pick on Rick and Diane and Paul. I love them, and it's a lot of fun to kind of have go back and forth and really see that their thinking is limited and boxed in at times. So it's really fun to be able to do that. Did I say that out loud? That was a thought. That sometimes
you were just it was there. Yeah, no, it came out loud.
I didn't mean to say that out loud. But
no trash talking
Paul,
going on.
Paul, let's do our tip and challenge as we wrap up.
My tip is I like Summer's comment when when I asked her about what the best advice she received from her father, and she said just the line that he used to say and kind of really etched into her mindset, and it's really part of the winning mindset, is that your focus determines reality. Your focus determines your reality. And the challenge is for us, what is your focus? So take a moment to think about what your focus is. What's your reality? What are you dealing with? What are the challenges? We all have challenges. But the realization that our focus determines our reality, that's about cause and effect. And if you're not happy with the reality that you're in, then change your focus. Change your focus. That's my challenge. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, that's really good, Paul. There were some great comments that came out of that. One thing that Mark shared about that I'd never heard that was interesting is that the brain processes print on a page at 100 bits per second, but it processes pictures at 1 billion bits per second. So a picture isn't really worth 1,000 words. It's worth 10 million words. And, you talk about focus. And I think that's really important. What are you focusing on? And get it, if you want a better future, if you want a better life, a better leadership, then you got to focus on the right things, right? Get it really visual, not just think about it, but really create some visual images for you to focus on. But I really, my tip for our listeners today, Paul, is to take Mark's advice and see your current challenges. We all have them. You mentioned them, Paul. We all have challenges, but see it as a chance to grow and to stretch outside of your comfort zone. Don't stay there. Stretch yourself. Use it as an opportunity. And then the challenge is connect with others who will stretch you. That's one thing about the four of us on the Breaking Average podcast. And Paul, you certainly have stretched me, and Rick and Diane, we all stretch each other, right? But this has been a time over the last, in 2020, where we have been forced to kind of isolate and not be around others. I want to challenge you to find a way to connect with others that will stretch you, not the comfort zone people, but the people that will stretch you out of your comfort zone to help you get to the next level, Paul. And that's my tip and challenge for the Breaking Average crowd today.
Also, if you want to be featured or highlighted on the show as a sponsor, please reach out to us at the email in the show notes or by visiting the website, breakingaveragepodcast.com. And we would love to hear from you and discuss how we can make this a mutually beneficial opportunity for you.
Yeah, thanks. Great conversation today, Paul, Rick, and Diane. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us today on the Breaking Average podcast. We'll hope you will continue to tune in or watch us on the Empowered Living Show. Once again, I am inspired by this idea of breaking average. It's what I strive to do every day. We'll see you on the next episode of the Breaking Average podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Breaking Average podcast. If you loved what you heard, please take a moment to subscribe. All opinions and comments expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and do not reflect the opinions or views of any of the advertisers, producers, or platforms. This show was produced by R Squared Multimedia. A special thank you to Milestone Melodies for our theme music. As you continue your day, what is one action that you can apply from this podcast to your life? Tune in for our next episode as we continue to challenge everyone to break average.